The world's most advanced supercarrier has reached the front line, but behind the steel hull, a silent crisis seems to be brewing. Washington has triggered the largest military surge since the 2003 Iraq invasion. But now reports indicate that the mighty USS Gerald Ford is grappling with a crippling sewage crisis. America's top warship facing readiness doubts just when war looms. Take a look.
Warships stack the horizon. Fighter jets rotate through desert bases. Missile defense batteries lock into position. This is the largest American military buildup in West Asia since the Iraq War. US already has the USS Abraham Lincoln in the region. Now it is joined by another aircraft carrier. The USS Gerald Ford, the most advanced and powerful aircraft carrier ever built. A 100,000-ton nuclear-powered giant, capable of launching more sorties per day than any carrier before it, armed with stealth fighters, surveillance aircraft, and electronic warfare systems, a floating fortress designed to dominate sea and sky. But beneath the deck, questions are rising. Recent reports reveal that the Ford's crew has been grappling with a persistent sewage system crisis. Waste backing up, maintenance crews stretched. The US Navy's top leadership had previously warned that extending deployments could damage maintenance cycles and strain sailors already operating at high tempo. Facing a grave threat, Iran has assembled a diverse and sophisticated arsenal designed to confront the US Armada. Supreme Leader Khamenei declares US carriers as sinkable targets, boasting of dangerous weapons. Tehran amplifies the threat with chilling AI-generated videos showing US aircraft carriers engulfed in flames.
I think there is no limited strikes. An act of aggression would be regarded as an act of aggression, period. And any state would react to an act of aggression as part of its inherent right of self-defense ferociously. So that's what we would do.
Tehran is making it clear that a US attack of any scale would spur the Islamic Republic to respond ferociously. This after President Donald Trump said he was considering limited strikes against the country. The two countries concluded a second round of indirect talks in Switzerland under Omani mediation. Further talks confirmed by Iran and Oman are scheduled for Thursday. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Meanwhile, the global trade landscape is back in flux after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the sweeping tariffs imposed by Donald Trump. Within hours, the administration announced temporary across-the-board tariffs of 10%, later raised to 15% using Section 122 authority. Let's just break this down for you bit by bit. Economists and trade experts are saying at this point that Section 122 may not apply in the current economic environment. The law basically requires a large and serious balance of payments deficit. While the US has run a trade deficit for decades, analysts pointing out that this is offset by capital inflows into American financial markets, meaning there is no overall balance of payments deficit. Meanwhile, Neil Katyal, the Indian-American lawyer who fought the tariff battle against Trump, remember, reiterating his criticism on the new tariff plan. And experts also argue that Section 122 was designed for a fixed exchange rate era, when the dollar was pegged to gold and reserve shortages, posed real risks. And with the US operating under a flexible exchange rate system for over 50 years, several economists are saying the legal justification for invoking Section 122 is weak. And the move effectively resets US tariff policy while creating fresh uncertainty for trading partners. The European Commission has demanded full clarity from Washington, warning that unpredictable tariff changes undermine the EU-US trade deal, and the terms set a 15% ceiling for most goods and allowed zero tariffs on select sectors like aircraft. Global partners reacted cautiously as policy volatility returned to the forefront. China has said it is assessing the ruling and urged the US to remove unilateral tariff measures. In fact, European officials also warned that sudden tariff shifts risk disrupting the supply chains, business planning and cross-border investment as well. India also reassessing its options in the face of the new US tariffs. The European Central Bank president, meanwhile, flagged the risk of renewed business disruption, stressing that companies need predictable trade rules. Switzerland, meanwhile, signaled US tariffs could become a long-term feature, while governments started reviewing existing trade agreements for potential exposure. Political leaders, including the French president, acknowledged the role of the US institutional checks, but also warned against escalating trade tensions. And Trump's new tariff strategy faces multiple pitfalls: the legal scrutiny over the use of Section 122, the implementation complexity, also the risk of refund claims on previously paid duties. Some estimates, in fact, suggesting companies may have overpaid more than $100 billion in tariffs, raising the prospect of lengthy reimbursement battles. For markets and businesses, the key issue here is clarity. In just one word, whether the new tariffs become permanent policy or trigger another round of legal and trade disputes. Shifting focus now to Mexico, it remains on edge. One of its most wanted and feared drug lords has been killed by the security forces. El Mencho, as he was called, was killed during that operation to arrest him. He was the leader of a major drug cartel. Soon after his death, chaos spiraled across the country, and his death triggered violent retaliation across multiple Mexican states. Members of his cartel set vehicles on fire, blocked highways, caused havoc. Parts were emptied out, residents sheltered indoors, schools in several parts cancelled classes. Mexican authorities have activated what's called Code Red. They have deployed over 2,500 troops to contain that violence.
Vivimos horas críticas.
We experienced critical hours in which incidents were addressed in different parts of the state and the metropolitan area. Coordination between various agencies at all levels of government was key. The main objective on this day has been to safeguard the safety of the people. Therefore, early this morning, from this security meeting, which is in permanent session, we activated Code Red, which remains in effect.
Visuals of the aftermath showing the extent of damage that was caused. Torched vehicles strewn across Mexico's western state. Cartel members blocked more than 20 roads there, burning cars, trucks, whatever came in their way. El Mencho died on Sunday while being transported to Mexico City after sustaining severe injuries during that confrontation between his followers and the army. His death represents one of the government's most notable successes in the fight against drug cartels and serves as a significant development for the a significant development for the Trump administration as well. Remember, under U.S. pressure, Mexican authorities struck against El Mencho, the 59-year-old former police officer who ran that drug cartel. He was the central figure responsible for smuggling vast amounts of fentanyl, cocaine, and meth into the United States, reportedly. The cartel is classified as a terrorist organization by Washington, and the U.S. was offering $15 million for information leading to his capture. Soon after his death, the U.S., Canada, India, Australia, Ireland issued travel advisories for Mexico because of the massive cartel unrest. More than 250 blockades were reported across 20 Mexican states. Several airlines have cancelled flights to the country. 4 FIFA matches that were scheduled in that area have also been cancelled. Let's tell you more about El Mencho, who was born in Mexico in 1966. He migrated illegally to the U.S. in the 1980s, where he served prison time before being deported. Back in Mexico, he joined the law enforcement for a while, gaining contacts and operational knowledge, and he then entered the drug trade with the Sinaloa cartel. He rarely left his hideout in the Sierra Madre Mountains.